Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Championship Sunday here at MLG Finals, live from New Orleans. Benson joined by Puckett and Mr. X on the analysis desk for the first game of the day. How you boys doing today?
I'm feeling wonderful.
Feeling great, man.
Good. You're also, you seem to have shrunk, Chris.
Yeah, I felt a little tall.
Yeah, you didn't want to make me seem
Standing
really
next to you
short. You're a good bud. You're a
Yeah,
good bud.
I got you.
Oh, dear. Of course, we've had lots of Call of Duty action over the weekend. Some pretty intense games so far, but Championship Sunday, this is when we always seem to have the best games, that's for sure. And there's one big question that I really want to ask you guys. Can FaZe do it again? We saw them do it at Season 3. They went down to the loser's bracket. Everyone thought they were going to be pretty much down and out for the count. But somehow, some way, they managed to find themselves champion and victorious.
I mean, you make it Sunday, you have a chance, right?
They had a rough Saturday.
Yeah, they did have a rough Saturday. I casted a match last night. They go to Game 5 against ISO. Zuma bails them out at the end. Has an amazing Game 5. They're going to need everybody to bring it today. And you look at all the teams left. Elevate had a great day yesterday. A bad day on Friday. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility that they could just come in here hot today like they did Friday and just run through everybody again.
Denial was perfect until they ran into Elevate.
Yeah.
So this loser bracket getting a little bit chaotic.
It's very strange because it isn't as if, we've seen one team kind of, like, for example, Envy has beat Elevate, right? And then we kind of sat there and go, oh, wow, Envy looked really, really strong. And then all of a sudden, Envy go up against Optic Gaming last night, and Optic kind of just cruised through them. It didn't even seem close. It's been a very, very strange event in terms of teams playing each other.
I don't think we've given Optic any credit. Yeah, you were.
I couldn't do it anymore, man. Thoughts were burning.
Yeah. We haven't given Optic. I don't want to say we haven't given them credit, but they're the one team who hasn't slipped up this weekend. But they haven't looked. But they haven't looked great.
Right.
They've done enough to get by to this point and being winners. To win, take the entire event, they're going to have to come in today playing another level.
I think TB said it best. If Optic continue playing the way they are and they go up against high quality competition, your FaZe, your Elevate, maybe even Denial, they won't win.
Elevate comes in and play like they did yesterday, and Optic plays like they did Friday and Saturday. Elevate's going to win that match.
How did you feel Optic played last night overall?
Sloppy.
They beat Envy, but they didn't look like FaZe on Friday looked unreal. Denial with the 16-0 map count, they were insane. Against Envy last night, I mean, they beat them bad, but that's one match out of the X amount they've played so far that they've looked insane.
So some top seeds in the lower bracket, some surprises here on Championship Sunday. DT eSports making a run all the way from open to here, and here's a look at that championship bracket, Ben. What are some of the standout matches for you this morning?
I mean, obviously you've got that winners bracket final, Optic Gaming versus Team Elevate. That's the one a lot of people are excited to see. But then over down on the losers side, I mean, Denial, they're going to have to go up against either FaZe or DT. And then, of course, Team Envious going up against Epsilon or Justice, rather. I mean, we'll talk briefly about FaZe versus DT, and we'll go into a little bit more depth later on. But I think FaZe should have this one. It's a good game for them to really start today with. I feel it isn't going to be too kind of strenuous on them, but it's definitely going to be a bit of a challenge. Don't take anything away from DT. Going down to Epsilon versus Justice, though, that's an interesting one for me because Epsilon Friday and Saturday morning didn't really look like the Epsilon we wanted to see. It wasn't Season 3
a
Epsilon.
rise, man.
It wasn't pretty, that's for sure. And Justice is a team coming straight out of the open bracket who I have been kind of harping on about the past couple of events that have a lot of momentum. They really want to cause some upsets. They want to prove a lot of people wrong. That game, I think, is going to be probably one of the closest.
It's going to be that's a Game 5 written all over that matchup. I think whoever wins that, though, probably loses to Envy outside that OG match. They've looked pretty strong up until this point. I can't believe Optic probably wants to thank the players on Elevate for forcing, if FaZe beats DT here, a Denial FaZe matchup. One of those guys is going to be out early here on Sunday.
It's going to be crazy to see these guys match up before a loser bracket finals. Normally you see Optic, FaZe, Denial always in the top three. Guaranteed not to happen.
Yes. FaZe most likely going to be going up against Denial. And then that matchup is one which I think it kind of, you start seeing a little bit of Season 3 come back again, where we were saying, if FaZe has any chance of winning this whole tournament, they need to go through all these best of fives as quickly as they possibly can. That's going to be a game which isn't going to be simple. It's not going to be a 3-0. Denial's going to put up some form of a fight. And then it asks the question again, how much energy can FaZe really store? They did get to the grand final, 2 best of 7s again. There's no way Optic is going to lose 2 best of 7s.
But losers last time was best of 7s.
Right.
Losers this time is best of 5.
Up
So
until
the
losers
losers
finals.
finals.
up until losers finals.
So you get 2 best of 5s before that best of 7
I
if
mean,
you're FaZe.
Matt,
Nice little warm-up.
is that a good thing or a bad thing though?
I think it could be a good thing. A match like this against DT, albeit early in the morning, should be one FaZe can kind of warm up, get things going, get on the right track, which doesn't spell good things for Denial. I'd love to know what time that match is scheduled for, because if it's anywhere, within an hour or so after this one's over.
Oh, yeah, it's right after.
It's straight after.
It's right
It's
after.
immediately
Oh, then Denial's in trouble.
Yeah,
if FaZe comes out hot, Denial's in trouble.
This is the Sunday loser bracket,
Yeah.
man. You go through the
That
grinder.
is true.
But FaZe, they're championship Sunday players. Clayster and the boys woke up early. They've been down here. You see them still waking up a little bit, stretching to get going here for game number 1. You asked, is it better for them to play a best of 5 than a best of 7? I think absolutely, because you have one less hard point in that series. And honestly, that was their biggest weakness, in my opinion. You saw them against Elevate last night. They were getting wrecked. 138 on compound, and then they only got 124 in their second game. 250. They allowed their opponents both times.
Hardpoint's been a weird game mode this event.
They got into some bad habits during pool play. They were able to just kind of skate through pool play, just run everybody over, not really. I mean, they were running 2 sniper setups in just about every map in Search and Destroy, just trying to go for world stars there a little bit. But you look at how they played in Hardpoint towards the end there against Elevate when they were losing. You saw bad numbers out of Attach. And I don't think that's all falls on him. I think a lot of it is that there's nobody playing around the hill with him. Everybody else just run around searching for kills. They're leaving him by himself to fend that off. And he's a very talented player. Sometimes he's able to do it. Just in those last few series against Elevate, you see DT on your screen.
They're coming in with a lot of momentum. That's something we haven't even talked about. I'm not sure if you guys know what happened with DT last night.
Break it down for us, Ben.
They had an insane game against Infused. I know Marky B was extremely, extremely annoyed. Sender was tweeting out about some unbelievable comebacks. I believe it went to a game 5, and DT was 5-1 down, I believe. And they managed to make a comeback.
I saw all your
This is a
Euro brothers
career
last
high
night.
placing, almost guaranteed for a lot of these guys. And you have to think, what changed the dynamic for this squad? I think it's the addition of the European. Watson knocking out the fellow guys from the UK. He's been a rock star throughout the weekend.
It's strange. He really has. Like, if you go all the way back to COD Champs, there's that little bit of a rivalry. That was when Watson really came onto the scene and was like, hey, North Americans, you're not really that good. And at the time, it was, Facento from TR who was like, what the hell are you talking about?
they had a little bit of beef.
They had some massive beef. The 5Ks, 10Ks, Watson really kind of made a name for himself. And then after that event, that was when you kind of saw that friendship start to develop between everyone and Watson over in the North American scene. And since then, he's kind of come over a couple of times, had decent success, I think it's fair to say. Nothing that stands out. He hasn't, finished top 3, and we've been like, oh, this European player, probably the best in Europe. But this event, I feel like this is one of those games where, I'd say, he does play well. Then great. That's how you staple yourself as one of the best.
Now, we have seen Sender. He's probably the most veteran player on DT. You've seen him back in Ghost, finishing that Season 3 with the Noble eSports squad. He and Slasher playing together back in those days. He was playing really good S&D in the matches I've cast. But I'm looking at the guy next to him, the youngster Ivy.
Yes.
Online player, gets a lot of people are saying, oh, he's only an online warrior. He has really stepped up on LAN, and he has been doing some work with the SMG.
He's going to have a lot of work to do in this match going up against Attach and Zuma, man. The 2 guys with those aggressive SMGs. First map's going to be Compound as well, so definitely looking at Ivy be the key player for DT.
This game number 1 is going to be big for FaZe. It's going to be the start of what could be a very long, long day for them. But they need to start off strong, that's for sure. Best of 5, as we said, in this losers bracket. Up until losers finals, they can't afford to make any mistakes, especially going up against an in-form DT. For now, though, we'll throw it over to our casters for game number 1, Maven and Chance.
All right, thank you very much, Benjamin. Now let's get it going. Game number 1 is going to be Hardpoint on Compound, and I'll tell you what, Chance, we were taking a look at the maps before we got rolling here. For me, this is almost a must-win for DT, with game 2 being S&D on Detroit. Zuma's been going out of his mind on that map.
Yeah, without a doubt, but honestly, I have to imagine that pretty much any one of these maps is almost a must-win situation.
Right?
Like, it's not going to make a difference. This is FaZe that these guys on DT are going up against. No one, I think, has much faith in them at all. They have a lot to prove today, but on the bright side for them, it's early morning. That is the first time we ever saw FaZe actually drop a series, but honestly, I think that might be the only thing working in DT's favor.
Well, you do. Honestly, that's the the thing. You have teams that really struggle in the morning or some that late at night don't play very well. That is certainly something we've seen happen historically at events. But tell me a little bit about this DT roster. Who do you think is really the player that needs to step up, has to have a massive series if they're going to have any chance going up against FaZe?
Okay, well, first off, every single time I've seen him so far, Ivy and Watson have been playing very, very well. But Sender and Diabolic, it's kind of a 50-50 of which one performs well and which one kind of drops the ball. So I have my eye definitely on Diabolic the entire series. Again, Faith and Ivy and Watson. Watson, complete monster player coming over from the EU. Sender, I have a lot of faith in. He's been around for a while. He's been around the block. Diabolic, though, I think he really needs to prove himself today.
Yeah, I mean, thinking back, Sender towards the end of Ghost really started to establish himself as a top player. Had a kind of up and down career here through Advanced Warfare, but let's see if he can wrap up another game going out on top. Definitely, like I think Chris said, a top placing for a lot of these guys now that they've secured this finish. Let's see if they're able to sneak by FaZe. So far, able to keep it close, have a 6-point advantage here, just under 2 minutes into this one. Gonna stick with Ivy right now as he is on a 3 streak. Make it 4, 7-4 with 4 captures to go with it. Can he get another? That's gonna tally up assists. One more to his right. He's gonna pick that up before finally being taken out by Clayster.
Oh, an incredibly solid plays all the way around. Clayster, though, was able to pick up 2, so Attach is going to be able to come in behind him, but FaZe only going to be able to get those final 6 or 7 seconds to scrap time, and of course, when you push for that scrap time late in the game, that's going to allow the other team to out-rotate you, and you can already see DT taking full advantage of that. You're watching Ivy right now on your screen. Well, his teammates are doing a decent job of slaying around him. He has 2 players in the back to deal with. You can see he's very aware that they are there, but more FaZe players flooding in. Of course, though, Watson able to come and support. Clayster going to take him down, but, well, Ivy hasn't even had to have a single gunfight.
I'm waiting for someone to
time.
move in on him. He's dancing back and forth, finally getting some action, able to get the assist, pick up 1 as well. Third going to push and able to pick that up. Going to be a 2 streak, 10 and 5 for Ivy, and now they've been trying to control this bottom spawn. The reason this is going to be so important, going to that 4th hardpoint, you're basically holding the same spawn going into the 4th. So this 3rd and 4th can be so key for points, and this is where you might see DT able to run away with this a little bit.
Oh, and without a doubt, that's exactly what they're doing right now. I think there's been, what, 3 or 4 seconds to contest time. Ivy won the only gunfight he had to inside the hill. Watson came in to help him out. This is the 2nd time that we've seen Ivy on a 3 streak while getting the hill time. Yeah, and DT locked the spawns down. You see, they basically got a full 60 on that hill. They have the spawns for the next one, and they are outslaying their opponent. FaZe, they started off slow.
That's
they're going to need to heat up
FaZe,
soon because already a full minute difference time, though. They're going to need to get, at least 30 seconds on this hill to start working their way back in.
That's a big break because this is one where you can kind of rally that 3rd into the 4th hardpoint, get a ton of time. They were able to break in, get 3 kills, and now we'll see if Attach and company are able to hold it down. He's going to have Diabolic pushing here from the side, able to get that, pick up the assist at least. One more, has the ball in his back pocket, able to snag that. They're trailing by about 50 points, 6.5 to go. Attach on a 4 streak. Clayster getting going. He's on a 4 streak as well. Let's hop out to get his POV as he's going to be the one kind of covering this far left side. And you can see in the minimap, there's going to be a couple guys going to be pushing from DT on this side, and that's going to be Clay lining him up with the bow. Not able to finish it, though. That's a gunfight you want Clay to get.
Very big hill for FaZe, though. We talked a little bit about Zuma, kind of put the team on his back yesterday, especially in that S&D where he got 13 kills to beat ISO. Now, though, FaZe struggled off the bat, but Attach has really stepped up. He's 15 and 8 right now, went on a 6 streak, more or less doing what Ivy was doing to them, staying inside the hill and winning every single gunfight necessary. Of course, going into the 5th and final hill of this first set of rotations. Once again, DT able to win the rotation battle, but FaZe flooding in quick.
Yeah, I love the positioning from Watson. Thought he was going to have 2 to take out from behind there, but not able to pick up either. Just gets hit markers. Clay trying to snag a couple. Going to switch back to Attach as he's leading all Slayers, 15 and 9 right now, 5 caps to go with it, and they're only down 20 as we're getting close to our 2nd side. Nice headshot there coming in on Diabolic. They've got a pretty good setup here, trying to soak up some time. Attach is going to be the first one here to engage and make contact on this right side. There it is. There's 1. There's the hip fire. 2. Can he get the 3rd? Shots off just a little bit. Watson going to answer back with a headshot of his own.
Yeah, the 2-piece just fell into his lap right there, but we've seen massive comebacks from FaZe before. DT, they got off to a very nice early lead, but they didn't keep up the pressure, so they're going to have to crank it up once again. Of course, right now they are inside the hill. Zoom is trying to come, well, on the flank, but again, there's only 1 second left on the hill, so after the first set of rotations, DT actually going to have the lead in a respawn by 11 points. Of course, though, FaZe working at that right now.
All right, here they come back. We're into our second side. Let's see how this one plays out. It's been so close, right? You saw DT pull away a little bit, but it was only one hard point later that it was basically all tied up. FaZe showing a bit of resilience in this one, as they've actually, this is about the most adversity they've had to deal with throughout an event. They've had some close series. They got knocked into losers, but we've seen them come back, win multiple best of fives to win a championship, win multiple best of sevens to win a championship. You can't really say anything is out of reach for this talented group.
No, without a doubt. Pretty much as soon as they were able to win the 2 best of sevens against Opti Gaming,
you can do anything,
yeah,
right?
they were capable of anything. They essentially became gods to an extent. Of course, they're going to have to do something similar today if they want to win this tournament. Of course, now you see on your screen, Diabolic for DT. Well, going to lose that gunfight to Enable, and FaZe able to retain control of this first still, and they're going to be able to take the lead for the first time in quite some time.
All right, we'll get over to our second hard point here. Watson will be set up low. We're going to be able to see Attach trying to be sneaky. He'll get caught out. He's going to find one more. Not only get shots in, so be Cinder, his teammate, able to pick that up. One soaring in. Nice shots there with the bow. Able to zip up the head there of Zuma as he's finally going to drop. Still basically a tie game. 3:40 to go. No one really streaking too much right now. You just saw Cinder drop. Going to flip it over to Ivy, who's got 2 kills in his pocket. 6 caps to his name as well. This one has all the makings of coming down to the final moments.
Yeah, DT on this hill both times around were playing incredibly well. This time, though, they only got the first 30 seconds before FaZe was able to break through. But you can see Ivy and a teammate with him. I believe that's going to be Center, putting on the pressure, flooding in the back. And, well, all 3 of the players, including Watson, were able to pick up a kill. And, you know, took FaZe 30 seconds to break. Took DT all of, what, 12 seconds to break it right back.
Yeah, good job there. The final trash looks like it's going to go to FaZe here. But we've talked about the fact that the third and final are so important. And they get a perfect spawn for it. They get that bottom spawn out. They're going to be able to rotate over very easily. They'll give up those 10 points or so. Not going to make a difference really in the game at this point. It's getting set up here, but the break is coming. Ivy's going to fall. That's 3 down. And FaZe, despite the fact that they stayed for the trash time, gave up the good spawn, still able to just crack in there. And that's what the talent of FaZe does for you.
Yeah, talk about fixing your mistakes from the first set of rotations. And I have to imagine the comms of FaZe were, hey, this next still, we have to make sure we lock it down early. And you can see the entire team stepped up.
Well, they got, what, 45-0 or so in this hard point last time?
Yeah, it was crazy. Clayster also went on a 4 streak to come in. Enable did the same thing, and Attach has not died yet. So FaZe making sure to turn around, and now this is the biggest lead we have seen FaZe get the entire time. Although it's only a meager 20 points, but still, they just got an all 4 down. DT spawning all the way across the map. They'll be there in just a few seconds, but they still have to win the gunfights. They have to get through the entire FaZe roster just to have the pleasure of getting to the hill and getting to Zuma, who's on a 7 streak.
Come on, Zuma, you can do it. Nade's coming in, trying to dodge everything, doesn't have any ammo. He's just going to be an annoyance. Just peeking here. Can he pick up the knife? There's one to his right, comes in front, his teammate's able to clear it up, and now he's got a bow, makes it an 8 streak. Zuma, you are an absolute freak. Minute 50 on the clock, rotating over to the 4th hard point. If FaZe can lock this up for any significant amount of time, this game is going to be over before we even get to the final hard point.
It is going to be Diabolic inside, but Enable takes them all but, what, 5 seconds to clean that up. DT frantically trying to push in from that left side of the mini-map. They are going to have control for just a moment, but Zuma just completely locking it down. He's trying to throw the team on his back once again. He's going to get the 3rd as well. Finally, Nade is able to take him down, but Enable going to be there to help out FaZe. FaZe in complete control, really starting to run away with this game. More than 60 seconds left in, but hey, it's nearly a 60-second lead.
Unbelievable, and that was really, it was the entire team. It started with that 3rd hard point where they got crushed on the first side. What was it, 3 different 4 streaks you saw? And it really ends up being Zuma, man. He is the one that goes off, gets to that 10 streak, and now it is going to be mathematically impossible here for them to even come back in this one. What an incredible job from FaZe. What was the score, 90-25, 90-28, something like that they were trailing early on? Great resilience from this FaZe team, and this is what you saw last night. You know, you talked about Matt. He was casting that final best of 5 with isolation with FaZe. They were up against the ropes, and they clutched it when they need to. They've done it all year long, well, I should say, since this roster came together, and it's impressive to watch.
Yeah, absolutely huge turnaround in game number 1, and kind of got to feel it for DT. They came out hot, but now after losing that one in, well, a controlling fashion, especially on that second side, they have the pleasure of now going to search and destroy on Detroit, and that's with Azuma with a hot hand.
And this was, I mean, this was a tie, basically a tie game for 3-4 minutes. It was very, very close. It just really opened up on that second side, and that's what happens on Codpad Hardpoint. If you're able to hold those 3rd and 4th, which you saw FaZe do, absolutely able to just run away with it. Phenomenal stuff. And really everyone getting in the action, pretty much everyone right around that 35 mark outside of Clayster, but still having a solid game for him, which is a map dominated by the sub, obviously. Not usually going to be a 50 bomb coming out of him here. But what stands out for you from both rosters? Why did DT fall a little bit short?
Well, honestly, it was really just FaZe cranked up the pressure. Early on, it was attached, the only one that was doing anything. We saw Ivy inside the hill constantly racking up an insane amount of time. But as soon as it passed that money hill when DT got the full 60, the rest of FaZe just came to play. I think at one point, Zuma went on, what, a 9 streak?
I think he got to 10
hilltop?
right before he fell from a grenade. No one was able to outgut him. It was a nade in his back pocket that ended up taking him out.
They basically looked at DT, said, hey, we see what you guys are doing right. We're going to show you an even better way to do it, and just completely tenfold the entire way through. Complete domination.
All right, well, incredible stuff. Unfortunately for DT, we've got S&D on Detroit coming up next. This has literally been the FaZe Zuma show all weekend long. Let's see if he can keep it up with the sniper. We've got a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.